In news overseas, while the U.S.-North Korea nuclear summit in Hanoi ended abruptly without an agreement to restrict the North's threatening nuclear program, analysts say it was not a total failure. Despite the dispute over sanctions, VOA's Brian Patton reports President Donald Trump seemed to indicate that Washington is open to compromise and willing to pursue a step-by-step nuclear reduction process that Pyongyang has called for, one that links limited concessions to partial progress.
In Hanoi, President Trump walked away from his second meeting with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un because he said Kim wanted total sanctions relief for only incremental denuclearization measures.
Basically, they wanted the sanctions lifted in their entirety, and we couldn't do that. They were willing to denuke a large portion of the areas that we wanted, but we couldn't give up all of the sanctions for that.
North Korea says it asked only for partial relief of sanctions that affected the economy, but perhaps the most important leverage Trump holds in nuclear negotiations are United Nations restrictions in place that limit the country's oil imports and bans most exports.
It's a little unclear exactly what that ask was, but it was above and beyond what was acceptable for the type of exchange that they were proposing.
The dispute over sanctions relief may illustrate the limits of Trump's personal diplomacy and attempt to nurture a friendship with Kim to gain concessions.
Mr. Trump finally understood that his personal charm offensive is not adequate to bring about denuclearization.
North Korea is believed to have 20 to 60 nuclear weapons along with long-range missile capability to target the U.S. mainland. During the first Trump-Kim summit in Singapore, the North Korean leader made a broad commitment to work towards complete denuclearization. In Hanoi, the two leaders were expected to agree to concrete measures, such as dismantling the Yongbyon nuclear site that processes plutonium fuel, and to improve relations by signing a peace declaration. The negotiations leading up to the summit also seem to indicate Washington's willingness to compromise on its long-standing demand that Pyongyang first completely dismantle its nuclear program before there can be any concessions.
It indicates that the U.S. is interested in doing a step-by-step phased approach with North Korea, which is something that my organization and others have been recommending for a long time. This all-or-nothing approach was not going to be effective.
For now, both sides still seem open to pursuing a nuclear deal, but analysts say it may be time for staff-level negotiators to work out the complex policy differences before the leaders commit to another summit.